FinTech industry. So I'm just going to go through her profile briefly once again, her LinkedIn profile. So she's a data scientist at Interswitch. So before Interswitch, I think she had the data science experience with Renaissance Innovation Labs, also at PrimeSoft, as well as going back as a data manager a couple of years back. She also studied um, mathematics and statistics from the University of Port Harcourt, as well as her postgraduate studies at the statistics department, University of Port Harcourt. So pretty excited profile right there. So that's Jennifer today. I won't really go into details too much because prior to this we actually had an interview with Jennifer. So if you really want to learn a lot about Jennifer, what she thinks about data science, data analytics, and so on, I think this is um, the point where you get to just go through the article and really get to know Jennifer. It was an interesting conversation with her, by the way. With uh, I think with her, the main point really was just learning. But I think that it's not. I don't want to have any spoiler alerts on this. You can just go check the blog for yourself. Then, of course, we are Port Harcourt School of AI. You can come to learn about us at phdschoolofai.org. We're an AI learning community focused on trying to decentralize and make AI education and technology accessible, as well as making Port Harcourt and Rivers State both data-driven cities, data-driven states, respectively, data-driven states, respectively. So you can see our mission here, our vision, and our plan as well. So you can check us out. And the practical machine learning course is one of the learning programs offered by the Port Harcourt School of AI. And our bid is to see how we can build engineers that actually engineers that are actually world-class engineers, world-class machine learning engineers per se. So we try to get experts to not just stream in and not just have to talk or have workshops with our students, but also be able to mentor them per se. We also try to use other techniques like leadership, having leadership programs in our learning programs, as well as using educational technology per se to make sure that the disruption is complete in most sense. So, but you could learn about that here again in our blog, practical machine learning course. The registration is closed, of course, but you could follow what we are doing right here, and I'm sure you'll be excited about it. So, without further ado, I think I would head to Jennifer's. I'll head over to Jennifer for an amazing session, and so we can continue from there. So thank you so much. So Jennifer.
Yay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jennifer. Thank you so much, Steven. That was I think that was the best introduction I've ever gotten. Thank you so much. That's quite exciting. Thank you to the Port Harcourt School of AI for this amazing opportunity. Thank you for giving your time. Thank you for watching. Thank you, everybody. Welcome. So basically, I just wanted to speak to us about a couple of things. Applied statistics and data science in the fintech industry. Actually, I would have loved if this was more interactive, like if I could get questions on the go. Or there's a space for questions at the end of the course. Or so I think I'm just going to dive in. Oh, okay, awesome. Okay, so applied statistics and data science in the fintech industry. Like, if you read the interview, if you have not read it, you should go and read it. I think one of the major challenges I had was where I would all fit in. I knew what I wanted to do even before data science became hot, in quotes, but where I would fit in, like with the industries, because I've always said, okay, I don't want to work in a bank. I wanted to work in a financial institution, something that was doing something about people. I figured health and finances are two of the most important poles or columns that holds society and life. So I struggled to find where I would fit in and where my skills would fit in all of these, especially since I was branching from data analysis to data science. So basically, these are some of the research I made before then, and now being in the industry and understanding their peculiar needs and all of that. And these are just some use cases where we use statistics or data science or machine learning, brother gets brother and AI and all of that in the fintech industry. So without further ado, I begin. Okay, so I think my best definition forever and ever has to be for data science, has to be by, I don't know how to pronounce my name, so I'll just call her Iriana. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce her surname. So data science is a technology in the modern world that has created much buzz in our industry. It combines statistics, mathematics, data analysis, machine learning, and visualization to extract insights from all big data that a company obtains. The results of this research are used for products and process improvement of the business. Data science becomes accessible for fintech products because digital services provide rich possibilities for data mining. So I work at Interswitch, as he has said. So by virtue of that, I'm giving some access to millions and millions of rows of data. Sometimes you get overwhelmed, but I love her definition because ever since I've come into I started this job, I now understand what it means. Like, okay, I understand all this, and I have practical, what do I say? I have a practical idea of what she means. It means that data science can be used for digital products because of rich possibilities. We have ability to mine thousands and thousands of rows of data, and we can use them for a wide variety of things. I'm just going to run through a couple of varieties. So number one, ways we can use data science and statistics in fintech. This is my ultimate favorite one, fraud detection. If you're popular on social media, you're aware of, every day someone comes. I think it was like, I think it reached its peak. I don't know about now, about 2 years ago, when people will come and say that accounts have been cleared out, they didn't perform any transaction, they didn't do anything, their card has been with them, and all of that, their card was just cleared out. So basically, there's a little error with this. I think I'll work on it and send it to everybody after that. Okay, so basically fraud detection. Let me just, okay. So sorry, everybody. Okay, so fraud detection. Basically, have you ever, I've wanted to always build, try to create a system where through my transactions and my processes and the way my data comes in, for example, if I like to think that if I build a model, right, and the model says that I spent 80K, 80,000 naira on a plate of food, the model will know it's me because I am a food person. And it has studied my habits through my previous transaction histories, and it understands the way I think, where I will most likely go to. Most likely, so I perform a transaction if I'm in Jos, for example, and somehow my card, there's a transaction coming from Jos, for example. The model knows I'm not the kind of person that would travel to Jos or go to Plateau State for any reason whatsoever, or let's say spend 100K on drinks. Okay, maybe drinks. Okay. What I'm trying to say is, you can build models that, since we have a whole bunch of data, you can build models that would reduce the risk of fraud and can detect fraud before it even begins, in the sense that, okay, so an anomaly shows up, it flags it immediately and sends you an email, an SMS, okay, so there's a pending charge for 15,000 naira at this boutique, at this clothing store, at this food place. It knows your habits and it knows what you spend on. Most likely, say your top things you spend on for me, for example, top things I spend on are transportation, food, and entertainment. So if you see something like an investment, it will most likely flag it because I'm not that kind of person. So that's what I'm trying to say. You can use the multiple rows and thousands of millions of data to stop fraud. Okay, so the next one, credit risk management and evaluation. So this basically works for, I won't say banks, but banks is a fintech, right? So I can use my models. I can build models and build like precise credit models, actively managing portfolio, forecasting losses, knowing whom and when to push offers to clients, anticipating clients going through financial stress and all of that. Okay, so Interswitch has a product. It's the Interswitch lending service. That's what it's called. Yes. So what they do is you can take loans like quick credit that GC Bank has. But it has to have like a credit check. So it knows that whoever they're lending money to would pay back the money timely. Not just pay back the money, but timely also. There will not be a breach of trust. So what they do is go back to your history. Like, okay, they want to offer you a loan. They go back to your history and say, okay, what are the flow of transactions in and out of your account? On a good month, you get, say, 60,000 naira. So they know now not to lend you more than 60,000 naira because you can't pay 60,000 naira back within the stipulated time. So basically, you used to run credit checks, manage risk, and all of that. I think the most important one for me is client experience, which is the next one. So you can use it to offer your clients or your customers precise and target offers, determine which client needs what product or service, anticipate client needs, identify new ones, and use analytics to understand client price and sensitivity. I actually found out about this when I have a business. So I started a business and I was like, oh, okay, I'm a data analyst, data scientist, like, I have to be able to use my business or my skill rather, to move my business forward. And then you'd begin to study customer patterns based on data, what they have bought before, their price range. They can never go above a certain amount in buying something. So you want to come up with package deals and targeted offers for them. Just like when you search for, okay, maybe you're discussing on the phone or something and you say, okay, you're looking for a vacation and something like that. A machine learning or a model, whatever, picks up your information and all of that. And next thing you see on your Google ads are book one room, get one free, get 50% discount on your flights and all of that. So basically, this helps you to create client experience, especially with, okay, maybe your mobile apps. If you have mobile apps, you want to know, okay, set triggers, which we do at Interswitch, set triggers for maybe mobile apps. Okay, this person, the number one thing that this person does when he opens the app is check his balance. So how about we just bring the balance out there and show you as soon as you come into the app. Client experience, they automatically think your app is better because you're feeding into what they want to do or what they hope to do next. So for the next one, we have identify investment opportunities by connecting dots through R&D. Companies are always looking for opportunities to diversify their portfolio to make more money. Through R&D, which is mostly a data science team or a big data team, or the range of everything, you're able to go through your data and see, okay, this is what people need. Okay, for example, think about the fact that people could want a product but not know they want it, because based on what they're requesting or saying, yeah, you could look through the data and say, okay, just let me use the previous example I used where someone comes into the app and goes to check his balance immediately. You can know that, okay, maybe there's another app I could build, there's a product I could sell that would just deliver this, their daily expenditures, how they spend money, and their balance to them every month. That is a new app. That is a new money making process. So you can use it to identify investment opportunities for businesses, for new products, connecting the dots via research and development, basically. Payment and transaction records, which is like classification. This can be related to the previous one I said. You could build classification models that could classify, is this a payment or a transaction? Is spending habits, and therefore asset management, which can also double as targeted marketing. So I know that, okay, every day you spend, every month you spend, say, 30,000 naira on diesel or fuel or something. And then I've built this NLP that can tell me, okay, this is how much you spend on this. I can build an app that will tell you, okay, I can automate this for, 200 naira every week. I can help you do this, so you don't have to log into your app to make those payments. I can identify transaction records, basically, this also ties into fraud detection. So basically, if a model, please, when I say model, I hope you know that I mean a data scientist or whoever is training the model, basically. Yeah, that's what I mean, please. If someone who trains the model on me, for example, can classify my spending habits and best find out what products I would need, what's investment opportunities, what's targeted marketing thing, whatever they can send to me. And basically it helps business. So these are just a few opportunities or a few scenarios where the science and statistics meet fintech. Then process automation. Currently working on this, currently part of this team. It's a call center automation, chat boxes. Please, how many people know Leo? I think that was the first ever chat box that we had that redefined the game. Leo by UBA, that redefined the game. Paperwork automation. Basically, what this is doing is freeing up staff. Like, okay, so call center automation. You know how MTN has this self-service, not the 180. I think there's a 181 or so. They have a self-service call center where you can call and attend to yourself, and maybe some, in quotes, everything behind it is a model. The model will attend to you and, okay, what do you want to do? What would you like to do? And all that. You select what information you want or problems you're trying to solve, and it attends to you. So nobody's at the back office attending to you when they could be doing some other important things. Not saying whatever inquiries you have are not important, but it frees up staff members to think of more important things to move the business forward. So that's another way that machine learning is helping the fintech industry. Using chat boxes, like Interswitch has a chat box where you can find frequently asked questions. Or if I perform a transaction and it doesn't go through, what do I do? Or how many days would it take for them to get back to you, and all of that. So basically, paperwork automation. There are some reports that you have to send every day, for example. Why do you need to send it? Train something to do it. Just train a process to do it. So every morning you come to work, where the process also resumes work, and then sends this report out 8 a.m. every morning. 8 a.m. every morning, or failing it, this report is going to the person. It's just like a pipeline. You build a pipeline, build whatever it is, and it frees up your time to focus on other meaningful things. Okay, so next we have targeted marketing, which I've already spoken about. This is something I love so much because not only is targeted marketing important, it's also the backbone of every business. You can't come and tell me that it's the first of the month. You can't come and tell me, do you want a loan? Obviously, I don't want it. Some people might want a loan. Obviously, I don't want a loan. I just got paid. You were able to know when, for example, my account is reading on a negative, and then offer me a loan. All this because we have data, and you're training something that is a model behind the scenes that's able to say, okay, knowing this person and this person's spending habits, this person will be out of money on the 15th of the month. This is the time to push an SMS to the person and tell the person, do you want a loan? We'll give you so loan at so percent interest rates. Also, there are some people who wouldn't go for, say, 10% interest rate. You want to give them okay, I can give you 20K for a 3% interest rate and all of that. So basically, which I think this is something that Google is currently making a killing at, because you can't seem to have conversations without somebody pushing some targeted ad to you, and it works. It works a lot, especially when you're looking for that thing. And then they'll give you as if it's a deal and it was made just for you in mind. I will buy, you will buy. If it's really important to you, you would like, okay, this is something I've been planning to do. Okay, how about you tell me that maybe I've been talking about bicycles a lot, and I say, oh, okay, I want to buy a bicycle, and all of a sudden an ad pops up, like you can buy a bicycle, you pay 3 times, and the 3 times you're paying 5K each month. Of course, I'm going to take it. This is the power of targeted marketing and the industry, like data science industry, and all the amazing things we can do with it in fintech, both for pushing products, pushing services, and all of that. Cash management. this is something we've had to take seriously for given the current health crisis. Okay, so most bank and fintechs use machine learning algorithms to predict cash flows, transaction volumes, and all of that. But let's stick to ATM cash requirements. Right now, a lot of people need cash. Some places are on lockdown, but we have maybe, should I say bankers or people who load ATM, I don't know what they're called, probably bankers, yes, who has to attend to ATMs. So saying that you have a data, or you have a data set of how much you load in the ATM every day and how much it takes, or how much time it takes for it to run out. The person doesn't have to do that job anymore. You can load times two and know that, okay, I will do it every other day, like today, next tomorrow, and all of that. It doesn't have to be every day. So these are just a few of the ways where how data science or statistics helps fintechs. And also, very importantly, load stabilizers for effective planning of transaction volume. Say that I currently have enough, like my network team has enough stabilizers to allow, say, 2 million transactions per day. But on this day, I have 4 million, and the next day I have 5 million. My system continues to go down consistently over time, and people will try to look for other alternatives. This trying to predict how much cash flow you're going to get in a day, as far as load and load, but how much transactions, like how many transactions you're going to get in a day. So you can balance load effectively and know when the service is going to stop working or not stop working, so you can be proactive about it. So these are just the few ways, in my opinion, that my company and that I know of is using data science and statistics in fintech. So one more thing, I said, I know this doesn't really concern you, but R&D in archiving and retrieval in big data. So storing all these millions and millions of rows, actually, let me just say billions of rows of data costs money, a lot of money. With big data or big data lakes and all of that, we find ways to archive data that we feel are not just they are necessary, but if we kept everything in the system, the company would spend millions of dollars for space. So we're also responsible for archiving and retrieval when, okay, it's necessary to bring the data back. So yeah, these are just the couple of ways that we use data science and statistics in fintech. So questions, anybody? Hello, Stephen. Are you there? Okay, I'm muting myself now. Okay, sorry guys. The fraud detection thing I was talking about and financial monitoring, I said I'll come back to. Money laundering and fraud is a huge deal. We all know what money laundering is, like trying to clean money that is not made legally. Basically, if say I have this person whose a transaction passes through them, like the person only gets like 50,000 naira a month, right? And all of a sudden I'm seeing 50 million, or let me just say 50 million, I'm seeing 1 million. The jump is high. Machine learning algorithms can flag that. So you don't even get in trouble with EFCC. Like they can flag that and alert the adequate, like the right authorities. So you don't get in trouble, because usually financial institutions get in trouble when it is said that, okay, somebody used their system or their processes to launder money. You can track all that and save yourself the stress of manually going to look through people's records one by one. Or has there been a jump? Has there been a spike? And these models can be trained as little as every week to every day or every month, depending on the time and resources the data analysis data team has. But basically that's it on fraud detection and financial monitoring. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, so you come to work and you put out fires first. I think that's the first thing. There are always fires to put out. So you put out fires. There are a couple of tasks. Okay, so when I first started, I kept thinking, oh, okay, so they expect you to hit the ground running first off. There's no time for, oh, I just came, give me time to learn the processes, the everything, how things work here. They expect you to hit the ground running. So when you come, initially, like my first day, I started developing an ETL. I had no idea what an ETL was. So a typical day at Interswitch is you learning a lot of things, hitting the ground running. Okay, something is failing. I've never heard of that. Okay, fine, fix it. Like whatever it is, just Google whatever you need, go and find it and fix it. It's just you putting out fires, churning out data we basically handle the data. What I do at Interswitch actually is more of data engineering than data science. So some people train models. I don't train models. I do, I build ETLs in data engineering, data warehousing, so extract, transform, load. Like, okay, so data is coming from, say, an app. You can't just give the data that's coming from an app to the scientist. No, the data scientist wants in a particular format. So that's what I do. I clean, I transform, basically, which is where all the cleaning happening, and everything they need, and send to people who do both visualizations or train models and all of that. So basically, a typical work day at Interswitch is me running around putting out fires and learning new things that I didn't even know existed. That's it. Acquiring and what? Okay, archiving. Okay, so basically, we use MS SQL for servers, basically. And I think we have, I'm not so sure, but we have a archiving policy of about 5 years. So data down from 2015, since we're in 2020 now, we have to archive. So basically what you do is create a pipeline for it and dump. We have a data lake. So it's just somewhere where data goes to sit down, just chill until somebody needs it. And then we use, okay, let me know, I don't use the technical name. We use, when somebody needs the data, somebody puts out a request. Okay, for example, person needs a data of transactions that happened in the whole of 2014. For example, the person wants to maybe mix and match or say, oh, okay, I want to compare and contrast, or I want to train a model based on this data for things that were happening then. Okay, data no longer resides in our servers. So what we do is we pull this data from the data lake with lines and lines of code using mostly Python, but some big data technology. I don't work with that now. Hoping to move there soon, but yes, I don't work with that now. They pull data out and present it in, say, some sort of file or a specialized, like they create a new server and just put the data there for the person. So it's not part of the loads that actually the company has to pay for every day, month and month again, and all of that. So basically, that's it. Sorry, do you understand? Okay, so I'm trying not to use very technical terms. I'm, I think I've gotten used or spoiled to using very technical terms. Basically, a data lake is just somewhere where you just dump data. It's just, okay, as the name entails, a data lake, you could just come and fetch whatever data you need. It's not readily available. It's not something that you keep in your servers that every day someone can just come and do a select and that. No. It's a place where you just come and dump, okay, old data. No data is old, but you know what I mean? Like data that would not be readily used every day. So it's just something where we dump old data. That's what a data lake is. First off, I don't think I use any tools that I used when I began. Okay, Python, yes, definitely. But I don't think I use any tools that I used when I began because a company's requirements are different. So, for example, Interswitch uses different tools than Paystack uses, and I think the developers, the software devs in Interswitch, I think they mostly code in Java. If you go to Paystack, I don't know what they code in, but that's very different. Your industry tools are determined by the company you're in. So right now, I don't even do so much Python. What I do is mostly SQLs, ETLs, Visual Studio, XML for cubes. When I was like, still studying, I used to use R. I knew a bit of SQL, yes, obviously, because you needed it to just pull data from servers and all of that. You didn't really need, but now I can say I'm a guru in SQL because there's no day that passes where I don't have to use SQL. So I think that I can't answer that question because each industry or each company requirements on data tools differ a whole lot, and it's based on what they are comfortable with. So I think you just have to go in with an open mind and learn whatever it's they're using. As far as you have the basic idea and understanding, you do well. That's it. Like a bunch of nerds. um, Basically, what do they look like? I don't understand that question. What do they look like? Please, can you give me one? Yeah, there's an R&D. Okay, so there is an R&D team that consists of data scientists. I think about two. That's aside me. Because I'm not in the R&D team. I am in the EAM team, applications. Um, so there are big data engineers, and then I think there are a few machine learning engineers as well. I think there's one or two machine learning engineers, and then you have a lot of big data people because we do a lot of things with. Our data is obviously huge, and you know what big data is. Big data is just millions or billions of rows of data. So we have lots more big data engineers than we have data scientists, and then we have data engineers as well. So our team is it's pretty vast. We have a lot of people doing, not like a lot, but we have people doing a lot of things and that can switch into roles given. So one thing I love about it is the whole idea of knowledge sharing. So we have knowledge sharing sessions where, say, the big data engineer could share knowledge on, okay, what he does and how I can do what he does and all of that. So pretty much it's not a huge team, but we are well versed with each other's roles and all of that. Visual Studio. I think yes, as we have discussed previously, laziness. I think Visual Studio. Yeah, you can use SQL within, or you actually use SQL within Visual Studio. So it's lots of SQLs to transform, change a column from, okay, maybe split columns, not necessarily split, but transform one column from looking this way to another. The other day I had to do okay, so before data came out, the data was not normalized per se. I had to do a normalization before sending it to the data warehouse where the person that wants to build the model or train the model will get his data. So basically, that's all the things that happen in the pipeline. There are a couple of things you want to do, slowly changing dimensions. Something like, for example, I just learned about slowly changing dimensions where you can come to there and this data is 5, and then you come next tomorrow and it's 5 million, and you're like, okay, what's happening? So what is in your data warehouse is different from what is where you're bringing data from, like your source or OLDB source or something. So basically, it's just a lot of things go into transformation. When I say a lot of things, please don't get me wrong. These things are not hard. It's just putting your head down. Don't let the big grammar fool you. These things are not difficult at all. It's just you preparing the way you normally clean your data as a data scientist. It's just cleaning millions of rows of data. That's it. So that's all the transformation that goes on before the data is given to whoever is building a model or whoever needs it for visualization and stuff. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, okay. Sorry, I didn't hear what you asked last. Okay, honest. We have okay, fine. We have an infrastructure team, a team that defines infrastructure, and most of our processes are not cloud-based. We have actual servers in data. Okay. What do they call them again? Server houses. Data centers, yes. Oh my God, yes. We have actual data centers where we have servers domicile, even if the virtual box, yeah, but we have actual data centers where you can't necessarily go and collect your data, but we have data centers exist, and we have an infrastructure team who helps with storage and management of space and disk and all of that and all of that and all of that. So what I think the reason why I love Interswitch so much is that there's people for everything. You just have to do your job. Just do your job. You have resources for almost everything you will need. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so the research I did was mostly okay. So I want to go into fintech, but fintechs, like most banks have fintechs, and some banks which operate, mm, some banks can be referred to as fintechs. Yes, there's a reason we keep having this internal debate at the office every day, anyways. So, but I'm saying that the research I made was basically what best suits what I want to do. And yes, you're right, the tools they use, even if I couldn't get, like, the information I got was kind of stale. So when I got in at first, it felt like the first couple of months or maybe a month, it felt like I was still floating and didn't know what I was doing, because it was a rude culture shock that, okay, so we don't use as much Python. So my Python is basically not unnecessary. You use it once in a while, but not, at least not in the role I work in. So what I did was research on what tools they use, okay, so what their interview process is like, what the everyday, day-to-day thing for their jobs and everything are like. What do I need to know? Who do I need to connect with on LinkedIn? Am I putting myself out there enough? Like, okay, so maybe on Twitter or on LinkedIn, for example. Yes. So I connected with most people that already worked there, asked a bunch of questions, people that had left already. You know how you can see people who worked in a certain place at a certain time, maybe vying for that role or that worked in that role. I kept up with them. And even when I got my interview, I didn't just, okay, even if I knew that me and some other person was coming for the same role, no, I wanted to know what the person knew. Like, I wanted to, like, okay, so what do you know? How can I learn this? We kept in touch after the interview because I wanted to know, even with the people that I interviewed with, at that point, it didn't matter to me because that was actually the, like, I think, second time putting myself out there. But even with the people who interviewed me, I tried to keep in touch with them on LinkedIn. I sent friends requests. I chatted with them. Okay, so what's happening now? You know, what can I learn? Just in case I don't get it this time, how many months more can I apply? Everything. I think you should just put yourself out there at, like, the way they call it is like at the office is jumping off a cliff, knowing that, okay, if I fall, I fall, but ultimately I will stand. You know, throw yourself into it and just ask a bunch of questions. I think that's the one thing that I've learned in this couple of months, that asking questions. Just ask. True. Find people who have been there before, what tools they used when they were there, how the interview process is like, what a day-to-day job is, or what a day-to-day job looks like. Everything you need to know, just ask. Even what you don't even know you need, just ask. People like to talk, so they will definitely tell you everything you need. There are special singular tools. Okay, so I think the first month, I'll tell you something my boss told me. The first month I joined, and I wanted to do something. And then I told her, why don't I do it this way? She said, no, for this particular thing, you have to use this. But let me tell you something. In her words, she said, whatever arises, you learn whatever you need to do whatever you need. In the sense that there are tools. When you find out that that tool cannot solve the problem at hand, because business demands are always changing. For 8 years now, we use Visual Studio, but the day you find out that Visual Studio cannot do what you want, you learn something else. God knows what that something else is. Maybe that's not even been invented and you invent it, but you learn something else just to meet up with business demands. So there are tools, but I think the one thing I would say is be well versed and just be willing to learn anything life throws at you. But for ETLs like um, Visual Studio, yes, I think that's the only one we use right now for ETLs. Right? Yes, like Divs. What? Business Intelligence Development Studio or something. I think S is some. I think I don't know studio, but I have to check. Okay, skills. I think that the only skill you need to learn is, or the only skill you need to have. Okay, no, that's not true. Actually, there are a couple of skills you need to have. Communication is one of them. I I used to be the person who would just okay, as far as I could, my data could talk, then I didn't need to. But no, that's not it. You have to learn how to communicate because business will definitely ask you. So you can't just give a couple of people from, okay, for example, now, product team to know how a particular product is doing. Can't just, tell them, look at data. Can't you see that this buy is higher than this histogram is, this particular buy in this histogram is higher than the rest? What does that mean to them? You have to learn how to communicate and communicate well. They call it absolute communication, clear, concise, um, concrete, I think, clear, concise, and concrete communication with the next person. And then okay. So, and also you need to learn how to ask questions. You need to learn. Like, nobody gets tired. I don't think anybody will get tired of helping you, but you should just learn to ask questions. And also, please, as you're asking questions, be inquisitive and learn it. And then, please, as a data scientist, I feel like if I can't shout this enough, document. You will forget about things you play with every day. Like, as far as you leave them for 2 days and then learn something else. I'm not saying that you cannot retain. No, you will forget. Document. There is I don't know if documentation is a skill, but it should be a skill that you have. Document everything what's documenting, then document some more. Because so you can go and meet this person and ask the person this question today, but by the time you keep asking same questions over and over again, and you just start person, sorry, I forgot. Nobody will answer you. So please document, ask questions, communicate, and be open to learn whatever it is you need to learn. I think those are the important skills you need to know. Okay, so I'm an old school person when it comes to documentation. It means that I have one huge book and then my notebook on my system, on my PC. If you go to my notebooks, you just see, even if it's 2 lines, but the title tells me what I'm looking for. And I have a notebook, a huge notebook where I write everything down. As you're talking to me, as I'm in a meeting, write everything down. Even if things you think are not necessary, I write them down in that notebook. I save my sticky notes for at least 3 months. So even if I put a sticky note on my system to remember, okay, do this, I put it in that book or I transfer it to Notepad on my system. So basically, if my system crashes, that would be stressful. But anyways, but I like to document. I have a book. I also use a notebook app on my PC. And when all fails, I use Notepad just to document and write things down. And then on your screen, there's a bunch of sticky notes everywhere just to remember to document. The reason why I prefer notes, there's a notebook app, I think it's called Notebook though. Why I prefer it is that you can search through, you can just remember, a keyword, okay, learn how to create partitions for cube, for example. That was something I kept forgetting for just one example. That was something I kept forgetting until I wrote it down. And now I had a step by step. Even if your step 1, open the application. Step 2, go to this icon and click on this icon. Documents. It's really, really important. So use whatever is available to you. If it's a notebook that's better for you, if it's on your system. But the whole thing with system is you want to try to send it to the cloud as soon as possible, just in case something happens to your system, so you don't lose everything you've worked for months or years on. So basically, that's what I use for documentation. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say, please? Who? If this is a girl or a guy asking question, I'm just going to say guy. Um, basically, so it depends on where you're applying to. For me, I think I went to Glassdoor jobs or Glassdoor. Is it jobs? Glassdoor, I think. I heard about the interview process, all of that. Okay, for me, I didn't take the data scientist interview. I took a software developers interview, which for me was kind of harder. So the typical interview was like, so I came and it was a pen and paper situation where they'll ask you, okay, so write down or write this down and develop this I don't know, something like figure this out and write it down in pen and paper. For me, that was the sense. You know that Python is not like everybody else that uses Django or something else and can do really cute, wrangling and everything. My interview, after I aced that stage, and can I just say barely aced that stage because I wasn't a software developer, but I was qualified enough to be a data scientist, and I went to the next stage, which was an interview with my team, the team I would be joining. So they asked me what my skills were, what I'd been doing, can I show them some works. So I didn't put at that point, still now, I don't think I have anything on my GitHub. I didn't have anything on my GitHub, but I had lots of stuff on Google Colab. So all I had to do was log on to my phone and just like, okay, at the point I transferred to their system, like, okay, so here's some links, here's some things I've done, okay, here's this data clean. I just showed them some basic data cleaning things I've done, so models I've trained and all of that. That's the first, or that was the first step of step 1, part B of the interview I did. The next one is the interview with the group that I was the head of technology. And then third one was the interview with the GMD. But in all of these, I think going through asking people on LinkedIn that worked at Interswitch or are still working at Interswitch at the role I was coming in as, even if you don't see someone working at the role you're coming in as, you see someone who has at least something similar. Like, for example, if you want to get a data science job, you can ask a software dev, oh, what's your interview like? If you can't find a data scientist there, ask a software dev, okay, what was your interview like? What did you do? What did they ask you? I think research is just the whole thing. Ask people questions, go online. Glassdoor is one tool, or is one resource rather, that I know that has helped a lot of people, because you are we are encouraged to be really to be open because you are anonymous, and how your interview was, the pay, everything. I think I found everything on Glassdoor, so that just helped me prepare. So there's no one stop shop to preparing. Just most likely they're going to tell you, okay, fine, code with pen and paper, show me your works, and just prepare for all of that, extra groundwork stuff. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I saw something.
Okay. Okay, so you can hear it. Oh, God. I think I've said so much once again. So like I said, thank you so much, Jennifer. And of course, you can head over to Jennifer's interview on our blog to learn more about Jennifer and of course the work she's doing. And as well, I think the next time this is going to be happening is going to be on the 4th of April. In fact, and that's where we are going to be having some of our other guest speakers. Hold on, please. Let me just navigate to some of our other guest speakers. Just as Jennifer has done, come talk to us. And I'm going to be showing us briefly. Just photos album. All right, so I'm just going to be showing us briefly some of the guest speakers and the dates they are going to be dialing in so that we can be well prepared and tell those interested. So these are current guest speakers we have, and I think the one from the 24th is Dr. Sebastian Rashka. He's the assistant professor of statistics at the University of Wisconsin. And of course, if you're not new to the Python machine learning space, of course, you probably must know one of the most popular books on Python machine learning book, and he'll be dialing in on the 24th of April. And on that same 24th, we are actually going to be hosting Aurelian Jerome, who of course is a former product manager, a YouTube product manager. He led the team that worked on the classification algorithm for YouTube. Of course, sometimes you log into YouTube these days and you're getting recommended at such accuracy. So he started to pioneer such algorithm along with the Google AI team about a few years back, and is also the best-selling author of the hands-on machine learning with scikit-learn and TensorFlow book. So he's going to be dialing on 24th as well. So we are going to of course share how this would work. So it's either he speaks in the morning and Dr. Sebastian Rashka dies in later in the day, or anyway it works. So you just follow our YouTube channel, or of course our Twitter handle, our blog post to get to learn more about that. All right, thank you so much um, for dialing in today. And of course, if you have any insights, you share, and if you have any insights, you share on social media. You tag us at we're at PHC School of AI, just down here. You see our social media handle at PHC School of AI. You can tag us any brilliant insights. You tag us there, and of course, the hashtag for the course is the PML course. Hashtag PML course there. So we'll be happy to retweet your insights just for visibility, just share what you've learned. And of course, Jennifer is, I think Jennifer's handle is, okay, so Jennifer's handle is at underscore Jennifer, at Jennifer underscore Ebe. If you want to follow her on Twitter, she's there on Twitter. You can just, yeah. Okay, so at Jennifer underscore eBay for that as well. All right, thank you so much. I think we've come to the end of this live stream, and of course, you can come back to this stream to watch the video again if you really want some key points. And wishing you the best of luck and happy Holy Saturday. Uh, happy Holy Saturday, yeah. Happy Holy Saturday. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. Thank you so much.